morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2022 Gulf Travel Show. And today's topic is the new era for tourism. And today I have the experts from different markets. Some of them are based in UAE and some of them are not based in UAE. But we have the experts here who will share with us what is the latest update with regards to the international markets, with regards to the Middle Eastern markets, with regards to the UAE market in particular. So I would like to welcome Daniel Rosado, who is the Director of Spain Tourism. Welcome back, Daniel. We had an opportunity to have you with us on the panel earlier. So I would just like to add here, Daniel being the Director of Spain in UAE, based in Abu Dhabi. Since Daniel has joined or based himself in UAE, we have seen tremendous increase in the awareness with regards to Spain as a touristic destination. And I'm sure there is a tremendous increase in terms of business. However, we all faced the pandemic since last 2 years. But the good news today is that we will discuss the positive vibes that we are getting in the market. Everything is getting even better than what we were expecting. So thank you, Daniel, for being with us today. We also have Mr. Mattias, who is the Director of Switzerland Tourism. And the same credit goes to Mr. Mattias, because since he joined, again, he has further enhanced the awareness about Switzerland, which is definitely one of the world's most wanted, popular destination. But Mattias has added a lot of further enhancement in terms of awareness and the business as well. So welcome back, Mattias. We also had the opportunity for Mattias to be with us in a previous, as a panelist in the previous webinar. That was again related to Gulf Travel Show. Time is flying, it's almost 1 year. We have another interesting personality with us today, Mrs. Ivana, who is from Prolingua Travel, which is a DMC in Croatia. Thank you very much, Mrs. Ivana, for taking time to be with us today. I understand that you also have a travel plan today, and right after this webinar, you will be flying or driving to some destination. So thank you for taking time to be with us. So Ivanka is a founder and general manager of Prolingua Travel. I hope I'm pronouncing it well. It's a DMC and Balkans Luxury Concierge Group. She is a local tourist guide, Interpret Europe certificate, interpretive guide and trainer, as well as a travel advisor. Graduate from the University of Rijeka, Faculty of Economics in travel industry since 2007. You speak English and Italian. So you being the travel advisor, Mrs. Ivana, we will get a lot of advices from you today. So welcome aboard, all of you. We all know Mattias and we all know Daniel. So I gave a brief introduction of Mrs. Ivana, but before I go into any questions, Mrs. Ivana, would you like to add a little bit more about your company and yourself?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Nasir. It was shortly about me. What I wanted to add is just that we are based and founded in Croatia, but being Yugoslavia, which is not very popular to say these days, I was born in the last century, so in 1976 when we were Yugoslavia. So we practically cover the former Yugoslavian countries, which now are Slovenia, Croatia, Montenegro, Serbia, Macedonia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Albania. And I'm half Croatian. My mother is from Croatia, my father is from Montenegro. So I nurture a big love for both countries. I also have a company in Ajman because I see a big potential of bringing our guests to the UAE and GCC countries, as well as even bigger potential of bringing UAE and GCC guests to my market. So what I see, it's a very big interest. I think definitely even you in your company see it as well, and hopefully we will manage to do even more work in both directions.
Thank you very much, Ivana. And I think smart idea, good idea. UAE and GCC definitely are very, very important markets for any inbound tourism for any country in the world. However, UAE is also a very important market for inbound tourism to UAE. And we are all experiencing the current and the latest developments here. So, ladies and gentlemen, good news. I think last time when we met, we spoke about the difficulties and the challenges that we have been facing with regards to the pandemic and what kind of losses and what kind of losses in terms of revenue, losses in terms of jobs, especially in the travel industry. It was not a good year for anybody, especially in the travel industry. Today, when we meet, when we discuss, I believe today we are going to talk a few positive things, because things have changed a lot in terms of improvements, in terms of travel and tourism, both inbound and outbound, especially for UAE and of course GCC and Middle East. Before I ask your opinions and any questions, just to add here that the new research from the WTTC has revealed that travel and tourism sector in the Middle East could reach 246 billion this year, which is just 8.9% behind the pre-pandemic levels. In 2019, before pandemic started, what the Middle Eastern market figures would tell you is 270 billion US dollars worth of business of the economy. This was the region's economy. However, in 2020, when the COVID-19 brought international travel to a halt, almost standstill, its contribution was dropped more than half, which is 51.1% in general, but overall it was even lesser than that. The latest research from, again, WTTC shows that as the region continues to recover from the pandemic, with major markets reopening borders and easing restrictions to travel, I think we all read it yesterday and today. For example, UK has completely lifted any sort of restrictions and any sort of, if I may use the word, protocols with regards to vaccination, with regards to PCR test and stuff, which is a very good sign. So I think this is what is happening around the world, and as you can see, how the figures are moving further or improving. IATA had mentioned previously that we will come to 2019 levels probably by 2024 and 2025. However, and talking about the Middle Eastern region, you can easily see this year we will be just 8.9% behind the 2019 figures. So it's a fantastic improvement. It's a fantastic move, and I believe we are all looking forward for that. Having said that, my first question is, what is the new tourism strategy for the year with regulations relaxed? Now, if I may ask this question to Daniel, because you have spoken about this before, even Mattias. So I would like to hear the same from three of you, because this is a question related to each and every country. So may I start with Daniel, please?
Thank you very much, Nasir. Well, I would say that old is the new. No, what we are trying to do for this new year that we are starting is to go back to the previous promotional activities that we had before COVID. During these last 2 years, many of the operations that we normally do were halted. Things such as farm trips and other kind of activities were halted because of the situation. But now, in 2022, we are able to come back and be able to promote the destination as we did before. So we are now being able to do those farm trips. We have some of them planned. We have also been very active in the region these days in 2022, promoting the destination actively and physically in many events in Expo Dubai and around the GCC, which was able because of the restrictions being let down. Our objectives, as in line with what you are saying as the perspective for the region, is that we will reach the same amount of tourists that we had, the same numbers that we had in 2019. Actually, with the figures that we just saw released in 2021, Spain got nearly the same amount, the same number of tourists that we had in 2019 before COVID. So that's a very good news, because that means that even in some months, in July 2021 was even better than July 2019, which gives a sense that recovery is there. We are coming back. Also, regarding restrictions, I have to mention that nowadays Spain the UAE and Saudi Arabia also and Qatar are in the safe list. That means that to access Spain, you don't need anything. You don't need to be vaccinated. You don't need to have a PCR, or you don't need a certificate of recovery of the infection. You just need to fill up a QR code, which is, a form, which will end up in a QR code, which is a form that you will do it in 1 minute, and it's just to have a bit of more extra safety, just in case there was any kind of case in the plane close to you, so that you can be aware of that situation. So which is just it's a form. It's 1 minute to do it, and it's very simple. So we are hoping that with the easing restrictions, we are able to go back to the promotional activities that we were doing before, and we think that we will see numbers getting boosted for this year.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Daniel. Just one more question. This morning I read with regard to the restrictions uplifted by the United Kingdom, by UK. One of the requirement was the locator form that you have to fill before going to UK. So you just mentioned that we still need a form to be filled when we are flying to Spain. Is this going to continue for the next?
No, we are seeing restrictions easing and going down, and I think this form will eventually be waived and not need anymore at some point. But for the moment, we are just keeping it because it's a way to ease of mind and peace of mind. When you're traveling in the plane, you are very close to many people, and it's even for your own knowledge. No, if something happened during that flight, you will have that information provided to you, and you can take the necessary steps. So it's for us, it's just a precautionary measure that it's not very inconvenient, because you can do it even in the airport just before doing the check-in. It's really easy, and for the moment it's staying, but probably it will be lifted soon, probably, but we'll have to wait for that.
Thank you, Daniel. Mattias, what would be your input with regards to the same question?
On one hand, about the regulations, here we are in a lucky position that we can really say Switzerland is totally open. Everyone can travel. from the UAE, but also from other GCC countries. You don't even have to be vaccinated. You can travel without test, without vaccination to Switzerland from here. And since a few days, also to travel back, to travel back, you need still either the vaccination or a test, but it's very, very easy. And we see since weeks and months, we have extremely full planes. Emirates is flying double daily again. Etihad is flying. Swiss is flying daily. So we have really a good. We have the same capacity as before. That's excellent news. And we see as well that what Daniel said is similar or even better in Switzerland. We had from July to December 21, we had 20% better figures than in 2019 from the UAE, and I think this is really a great result, because it shows that as soon as traveling was possible again, it was from last 26th of June last year, people really came to Switzerland again. Switzerland lost nothing from its attraction, and that's a very, very good feedback from the customer side. And of course, we want to capitalize on that this year again. I don't think we can just go back to what we did before, because we have more competition here. We have, for example, money which was supposed to be spent in Russia before is probably now being spent here in the GCC, because the Russian guests and the GCC guests often went to the same hotels in London, in Paris, in Switzerland as well. So we have probably more money diverted here in this market, which is good for the market, but is, of course, we as part of this market, we have to still be ahead. We have to be better than our competitors. We have to do more. I think Switzerland was always quite strong in the B2B side. Where we have to add as well is on the B2C side. I can already mention that Roger Federer will have another appearance this year. I think as from April, and of course we try to be present offline and online throughout the whole year to save a strong summer, but also, and this is a bit the part where we want to do more in future, also spring, autumn, winter, wonderful seasons which are also very nice, and which I think guests from here, from the region, may not know yet so well as the summer holidays, which of course will always stay the main time people will travel.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Mattias.
Thank you.
Very, very, we are all very pleased to hear all this positive news from both of you. It will definitely encourage the travel and tourism companies here, the passengers here. The confidence is building up, and with this news, this information that we should all spread in the market, that the things that you have just mentioned, it will further enhance and increase the confidence of the travelers, and they would be more relaxed in terms of traveling. And it's good to hear again that no vaccine, no PCR test, you feel like normal like before, and you are welcome to Switzerland. This is excellent news, and I believe that's one of the reasons that you mentioned all these Swiss and Etihad and Emirates flights are going full every day. Excellent, good for the airlines, good for the country, good for the travel agency. Perfect news. I'm very, very happy to hear this. Thank you so much. So let me, Ivana, now it's the same question. What is the new tourism strategy for the year with the regulations relaxed? Now you represent a bouquet of places. So let's hear your expertise and your input with regards to the same question.
Thank you very much. So, in fact, first of all, I would like to agree with Daniel. We are doing the same thing, organizing and planning FEM trips, which were unable to do. Although I should say that I think that Western Balkan region was the most relaxing one, even during pandemic, even now. I will just give an example. We were not supposed to wear masks outside. We were able to move with less restrictions that other countries, both summers, even in 2020 and 2021, we were open for tourism and tourists coming. They were mostly those coming from the neighbor countries like Germany, Italy, and so on, because the flight connections were stopped. So it made our life easier, and in both the seasons, I'm talking about summer seasons, we were close to those results from 2019, which was one of the best years ever. What we are currently, of course, we have used Expo as well to start promoting our areas. But what we have now an issue is that war between Russia and Ukraine, which I think didn't affect it so much in terms of closeness, Spain and Switzerland. But for example, we see a lot of cancellations in Serbia and particularly Montenegro, because Ukraine and Serbia are one of their best target markets. Profit will go to GCC because I'm in contact with my colleagues in Russia. The UAE is open to them, so they have reallocated all the money and they are willing to spend it in the UAE and GCC. So this is pity, but what we are expecting and working intensively, particularly for Montenegro, is to bring UAE clients. We are talking about high-end payers and, let's say, not low budget, because we are not working on that market segment. And what will be the hit this year, and it started last year, is Albania, because it has opened, no restrictions, no visas, direct flights from Tirana. I have an information that from Fly Dubai that they have like 200% more sales than expected when talking about flights to Tirana, because it's cheap and is a beautiful destination, still not explored as for example Croatia, Montenegro, or Bosnia, which is a Muslim country, so a lot of people is visiting there. What I can say for us, our competitive advantage is the halal certificate that we recently achieved. So we are the first agency in Western Balkans having certified all our tours in accordance with halal certificate. So I think this is a niche that we will use this year to generate more arrivals. But what helps us a lot are particularly to UAE citizens. They don't need visa in any of the countries that we represent, and still they require PCR or confirmation of vaccination. But I think in next month it will be completely released. So it will be like in Spain and Switzerland. You will be able to arrive without thinking, am I vaccinated? Do I need the PCR? And so on.
Thank you very much, Ivana. I would again thank you for sharing this very positive input. It's good to hear this. And of course, as you mentioned, there are no visa requirements for the GCC nationals, which is something great. This makes their decision easier, and trust me, a lot of times people make decisions last minute. We are a last minute market till date. People, when they decide to go somewhere, and then last-minute decision when they know that they don't need visa to a certain country, which you, as you correctly mentioned, beautiful countries. So the decision is very easy. So they just feel that this is the place they should go, because this is very easy for them to fly without getting into the trouble, or not the trouble, this is not the right word, or the formalities of getting visas. So yes, that's fantastic. Congratulations for achieving or obtaining the halal food certificate. I think this is something great that you have done, and this will definitely add value to your business. So thank you very much for the input.
Thank you.
Thank you. Having said that, I think we have covered quite a few topics within your answers, but I would like to ask you a couple of more questions. So one of the main reasons for destinations to bring in the regulations was the spike of new variants. We were almost done with one, and then we got into another one, then we got into another variant. So what do you think? Will this further deter when it comes to future business? There should be a backup policy. What is your opinion, and what do you think will be the impact of if it comes to future business and we get into a new variant? Mattias, would you like to give us your opinion on this?
Yeah, I think it's really, in Switzerland, it's quite pragmatic. The approach was very pragmatic. So I think we will see if there is. I mean, at the moment it's really over, even though there is still a lot of cases. But the public opinion is that that the ones who everyone everyone was able to be vaccinated, and the current variant, the Omicron variant, is not very severe, so it should not affect, or it should not be very how do you say, severe. As I said before, it's somehow manageable, and if you protect yourself with vaccination, then you should survive it. And but of course, it can be that if something comes which is again more severe, more people die, then there will be new measures, and will be new things in place. I don't think we can. We all hope it is over now forever, but we can't really plan with it, because. But what I know is that our country will be pragmatic. It's a democratic system which the government cannot just decide. So our Corona law was voted for or against by the public. So that's the only country worldwide which said, okay, we agree to this measures, or we don't agree. So that means all these measures have to be thought of. You can't just say we are extremely strict or we are extremely relaxed, because people will not agree to it. That gives me confidence that whatever crisis will come, we will find a way, maybe not the perfect way, we do also mistake, but we find a way forward. We find a way to, of course, make the country safe and secure, but on the other hand, to still enable business to find a middle way. And I'm quite happy with how Switzerland managed the crisis, and I'm quite positive for the future as well, that we will maintain that pragmatic way.
Thank you, Mattias, for actually to the point and detailed information and update on this. Ivana, would you like to throw some light on similar point?
Well, in fact, we are a democratic country as well, but we were not allowed to choose whether what measures will be implemented or not only in Croatia but in all the countries that we are covering. But what I see here, for example, during this pandemic, believe or not, if you went to Bosnia and Herzegovina, there were no measures. So we were all stuck in houses and they were having parties and everything was open, and they had the lowest rate of deaths and coronavirus cases, which was so unbelievable, in fact. So all other countries in the surrounding area, so Croatia, Serbia, Montenegro, Slovenia, we were all closed. They were completely open and had the lowest rate. I think that Omicron will not influence at all in our region to any, will not create any severe situation that we will need to face with. So if you ask me for my market, I think that we don't need any backup policy. We just need our target markets to remain open in order to be able to come, and we will be okay, unless the escalation of war between Russia and Ukraine appears, then that might be a problem. I think that we overcome the COVID, that we have now another issue to face to it, but hopefully it will finish before the Eastern. So I think that we are pretty done with COVID. Even they are announcing a new types for September. But you know, they have announced so many things that we are now just saying, okay, just another announcement that we will take present, but not think about that so much. So the general conclusion, my market will be open for you. So if they close you again, you can come and spend your money in Western Balkans.
Ivana, thank you very much. I like your brave approach. Well done. Daniel, just a brief on the same topic, please.
Yes. I think that we are changing from the pandemic to the endemic. No? So we are changing the sort of challenge that we are facing. No? So when this becomes like a flu, things, especially measures, will drop down and will adapt to the new circumstances, because we cannot be every time there's a crisis hold back at home. Not more. This is not something that the public is going to accept anymore. So also governments will adapt to that. Also, I have to point out that the measures that have been put through during all this time in Europe or here in the GCC countries, and they have been effective. They have saved lives. They have made all the measures that have been put in place, like for example in Spain being one of the main leaders in vaccination. Also, for example, here in the GCC, UAE has been the first or top three always in the measures, especially in the vaccination program that they have put. All these measures have been very effective in providing a safe country for people to live and to visit. But talking about the backup policy or how do we face new circumstances, Spain has set through like a plan, and it has a plan, and that plan it's divided like in different stages, and depending on the circumstances and how the virus is evolving, we enter in one or another stage. So at this stage, Spain has lesser restrictions. We don't even need masks outside in the street. So restrictions are minimal. What happens if another wave comes or something else happens? Then we'll go back to another stage where measures are already thought of and they will apply if we go back. So we have our system put in place and it adapts to the circumstances. These measures also have been reducing inside of each of these stages, as we have been seeing that the the effects of these new COVID waves are lesser than the previous one. So, bottom line, what Spain is doing is adapting to the circumstances, and whenever we have peaks in the waves or any circumstances, then we take the measures. But going forward, I think that measures will drop even more and more. And we are looking to a summer season where COVID is going to have less protagonism.
Well done, well said. With all what you have shared just now, all of you, do you see any emerging trends when it comes to traveler bookings or behavior with all these changes and developments that's happening? Ivana, would you like to throw some light on this?
Well, what we see is what you do for years, your way of booking. We see a lot of last-minute bookings, and what makes me extremely happy are the bookings for outdoor packages and like cruisings. Not as before, a lot of groups all in one, let's say, literally in one square, you had a lot of people, big groups. So what we see now in my region are smaller groups, which I love because you can dedicate yourself, even as agency and as tourist guides, to them and make them experience the destination more. So despite the pandemic, which I didn't like, I love the result that it produced, and these are smaller groups and that you can handle more effectively, and providing them a better experience of destination. So I'm talking about all the destinations we cover. And there were a lot of cancellations last time in this period, talking from September last year, but now it is stabilizing, and we have increase in people wanting to explore the outdoors, those mountainous regions, to be alone. A big increase in booking holiday houses, not staying in hotels, but in let's say more privacy. And I think it is good for our region, because I was always telling, and this is the way we promote, at least me, my market, that we are not for mass tourism, but for the, let's say, luxury, not in sense of golden pipes in hotels, but in sense of experiences. So I think even Switzerland, Mattias will definitely agree, is not for everyone. Even I was even in Spain, when you are in a small group, then you experience the way the people live, the food, everything. So it is something that increases even in demand in our region, and makes me very happy for that. So I think it will continue, and this is the only issue that we will not face as in 2019 and before. Mass tourism, very large groups, mostly because people are still somehow afraid of traveling in big groups. But the pandemic showed them that there are even other ways of exploring the destinations. So I think it will be the case on my market as well.
Thank you, Ivana. Well said, because there is always an opportunity even in difficult times. So I think you just availed that opportunity. Well done. Just a brief input from Mattias on the same question, please.
Yeah, I really much agree with Ivana. I think the trend towards smaller groups, towards more FIT will increase. We always had in Switzerland, we always had a lot of FIT. We never had from this markets, huge groups, but and people always came because of the nature. It was always travel reason number one. Greenery, nature, mountains, but also the cities, we call it shopping in the nature. So these were always the main reasons to come. But I think, the pandemic has accelerated that, has even, improve that more and more. And I don't really see so many other trends, to be honest. We were lucky. I mean, Switzerland is lucky because its image is safe and secure and clean. It's not very sexy normally. People don't speak about this, but during this pandemic time, it was very good, and I think it will help us as well during the next months and years, because maybe people are a bit less risky at the moment. They may not go to, I don't know, a small country in the middle of Africa, because there is maybe not so much hygienic situation, or the medical situation is maybe not up to the standards of Europe, for example. So this will help us a bit during the next years. But what we also know, and that's also good in a way, that people forget, and people will not remember forever. They will explore everything again. Let's hope that this horrible war will end soon, and people. I mean, what we also know now. I mean, people from Asia, for them, Ukraine is Europe, and from people from Japan, they will not travel to, even if they could now because of COVID, they will not travel in big masses to Europe, because, and probably the same as well for the US. So because this is just one for them, and like, for example, some Europeans, they also think Dubai is like GCC. It's not. We all know that. There's different cultures, different situations, but this will, of course, affect this year, and let's just hope that also for the people, of course, in Russia and in Ukraine, that this horrible war will end soon, and because I was very, very, very confident early February, and I'm a bit less confident now because of this issue. But let's hope that we still have a great summer, and that there will be more peace in the world.
Great, thank you, Mattias. Well, let's see that we continue with this positive trend. Just to add here, I as a travel agent, as a tour operator, I also see a positive trend, and especially for Europe, the business has been increasing day by day. Very happy to share that the things are getting so good. People have waited for a long time, which is like almost 2 years altogether, to go back to normal. And actually, we talk about the revenge travel, for example, the revenge tourism, for example. And people are really hungry. People are waiting for the things to open and go back to normal. And I think the travel will be more than ever before. I'd just like to add here again, for DDP Travel Talk Group, they are, with the help of the local markets here, we are now together promoting and having a campaign to promote the outlet malls in Europe. And people are so happy to hear this, and we are able to push this easily in the market. And a lot of people are very excited about the awareness that DDP Travel Talk is creating about the outlet malls. And people are now not only going for holidays, they are only looking forward for spending money, on buying things from these fantastic outlet malls. And one of the countries included in the campaign is Switzerland, Mattias. So I would also ask them to send me on this trip so I can do some shopping as well. So thank you, Mattias, again.
Thank you.
I have a couple of more questions. I know we are running out of time, but then again, after the pandemic, if we can say so, are there any new attractions at the destinations? Daniel, would you like to share this with us?
Yes. So after the pandemic, we have seen, in line with what you have said, we have seen a great increase in people wanting to travel. No? The demand is there, and even the budget is there, because for some time people maybe they have been waiting to travel or not. So now they have the desire plus the budget to do it. Or even the budget they had, it has increased, and they have now even more budget to travel. So that is something that the destinations have been looking at, and they have been providing solutions now for that extra budget in order to be able to be used at the destination. So, for example, we have seen Madrid that they have made a huge renovation on the luxury side of the city. You know, we have seen new openings such as the Four Seasons in Madrid, which is the first Four Seasons in Spain. We have the revamped Villa Magna, which is now a Rosewood, and we also have, for example, the Mandarin Oriental Ritz. Those are like revamping of some hotels that were there, and some new hotels like these Four Seasons, which is brand new. It's a mix of seven different buildings all brought together in one. It's amazing with all the things that they provide. But there are also other 5-star hotels opening, addition, many things happening. And that comes together with the renovation of the areas where they are. And we have seen more luxury boutiques, more elite malls coming up. So there's plenty of things happening. And if you've been, for example, in Madrid 2 years ago, and if you go now, the city has changed a lot, especially in that luxury side. It's now being very much more focused on that. And of course, we can mention, like you said, for example, in Malaga we have MacArthur Glen, which is not new, but it opened just before the pandemic. With the pandemic, the numbers were lesser because of obvious reasons, and now they are coming back full-fledged for this summer. And being located, for example, in Malaga, they will see a lot of people going there and experiencing fully what that place was meant to be when it initially opened.
Thank you, Daniel. I think we are all coming to Spain for shopping again. So that would be a pleasure. Having said all that, I would like to add here that personally, as a travel and tourism agent in this part of the world, I think I would like to thank the UAE and UAE authorities and the government for creating such a positive vibe here, and one of the first countries to almost overcome the pandemic issues and opening the borders and creating a very positive atmosphere here, including the vaccination and all the other measures that have been taken. There's always a blessing in disguise. I personally think that it's good that Expo was not held before, it was held now, because Expo has created a huge positive impact for both inbound and outbound markets from and to UAE. And not only the Expo has an impact all over GCC, right? People coming from other part of the world, when they talk about Dubai, automatically they think about the other destinations. Of course, Saudi Arabia is working very hard. They are investing millions or billions of dollars to enhance their inbound tourism. And same impact, if you look at Oman, Oman is also have a positive impact from UAE. You know, they got an impression, and they are also heavily investing for their inbound tourism. And definitely the reflection of inbound tourism is the outbound tourism. So my personal wish is, I wish Expo is extended for another at least 1 or 2 months. It's fantastic. I was there yesterday once again. We have been there several times, and just let me say that everybody was having fun and it was full of people. So it means that Expo has created a lot of business opportunities, not only for travel but for other businesses. Keeping all this in mind, my last question of the day for all of you is, how do you see business for summer this year, with all these positive inputs that you have given? So Daniel, may I start with you, please?
May I can start quickly, because I really have to go into the next call in 1 minute. Sorry to interrupt here. I just want to add here as well. I completely agree with you. The Corona handling was absolutely great of Dubai. The Expo, they have promised us the greatest show on earth. They really delivered. I completely agree. It was a fantastic show, and I have been about 25 times on the Expo, also privately. Next event tonight, where we hopefully see you as well. But you asked for summer, and I believe we will have a great summer. We have a lot of tourists from the GCC region in Switzerland. I hope we can have the same amount we had last year from the UAE, and of course a much better amount from Saudi especially, but also Kuwait, Qatar. I have great hopes in those countries.
Thank you, Mattias. I really appreciate that, and I know you have to leave. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate your time for today, and we can continue with Daniel and Ivana, because if you have to move, we will catch up later on. Once again, really thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time and sharing your inputs with us. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. Have a great day, everyone.
I will quickly go back to Daniel and Ivana. So Ivana, what is your opinion about the summer?
Well, we have all the very good projections for summer. As I told you before, we have great interest for Albania as a holiday destination, mostly for families. Montenegro is, we have a rising inquiries for the inland, so the mountainous region, which is very nice. Montenegro is small, so you can practically stay during the night in the mountains and then go to the beach in 1 hour, 1.5 hours, depending on where you're staying. We have that Muslim women's cruise that we created as a new tour in Croatia from Split to Dubrovnik, and from Dubrovnik to Split, and we have a great interest even in pre-season in May and in October. And what we have is an increased demand for Serbia, and trying to promote even Macedonia. I think it will help also our efforts, because we are working with Arabian Radio Network, started last week, and with Trav Talk almost for a year. I think they have covered our event in Montenegro Pavilion in December, and after that even the Montenegro National Day. I completely agree with you for the Expo. Since my company was the only authorized ticket reseller at Western Balkans, so I used also personally the occasion to meet some people and to to do some business research and business meetings. So I disagree that it should last another 2 months. If you ask me, it should last for another year, because it created a great impact on the UAE tourism and the countries that surround the UAE. And what makes me very happy is that travelers from my region were able not only to see Burj Khalifa and Burj Al Arab and all those buildings, which for me are just an expression of financial power, but also to explore the old Dubai, to go to Ras Al Khaimah, to see Suwaidi pearls, and such those things that are not, in fact, promoted at all in our market. So don't see a lot of travels from my markets to the UAE this summer just because of the weather and because it's more pleasant to stay in our area. But as I said before, we had even now confirmed bookings, a lot of them for particularly Montenegro, Serbia, Montenegro, Croatia, and Albania, because we are the coastal countries mostly.
Thank you, Ivana. I'm sure that yes, we have a very hot weather during the summer over here. But we do still have a lot of inbound tourism, but mostly people travel to the other side of the world, like your countries. So I wish you good luck, and I'm sure you will have fantastic business from this part of the world. Daniel, I know I have taken a long time. We agreed for 45 minutes, but it's a little more. But please, I would love to have your input on this last question.
Briefly, very briefly. Dubai Expo has been a huge success. Yesterday itself, I was at the pavilion, at the Spanish pavilion in Expo, and the commissioner of Spain, she said that we had overpassed the 1.5 million visitors to the Spanish pavilion. So that's huge. It's huge for the UAE as success, and also it helps also all the countries to showcase what they have to offer and to bring people together. So it's a fantastic activity that should be promoted. Actually, Malaga is bidding to host Expo 2027, and we have been doing many promotion of it in order to obtain that 2027 Expo. Next year it will be decided, so we are working on trying to hosting it, as we have already hosted like Sevilla in 1992, which was a fantastic success for the city and make the whole difference. And finally, to address your point of summer, I think we are already seeing fantastic figures. Airport data is showing now in the month of February that we just passed very promising figures. So I think that summer, with the ease of restrictions, the ease of COVID, and I hope that war is going to be over and it will not affect much. I hope that the summer is good for everyone.
Thank you very much, Daniel, once again. And with this, we come to the end of our webinar. And once again, I would like to thank you, Daniel, Ivana, from the other side. And we hope, as I said, we hope to see you in person in UAE very soon. And of course, Mattias, I would like to thank all of you for taking time out. And once again, sorry, we took a little longer than what we agreed for. I would like to really thank the Gulf Travel Show and the people behind Gulf Travel Show, again, the DDP and Trav Talk and the whole group and the team. They are throughout the year, they're absolutely active, and I love the way they handle and keep us connected and keep the market updated and spreading the good news and the positive news. Thank you very much for the team behind Gulf Travel Show for giving us the opportunity and the platform to share the views from the leaders of the market that we were here listening to. And I hope this will create people, to the listeners, to the audience, it will give a very positive message, and we hope to see more than what we expect in terms of travel business. So thank you, Daniel, thank you, Ivana, and thank you, Mattias, and the GTS team. Have a very good day and good luck with your future business. Thank you.